Hi everybody, very welcome to Mentour and yet another video podcast. As always, I hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. Today on the video, guys, I'm going to be talking about the failed stress test that was done on the Boeing 777X last week, and that was reported as a cargo door failing, but turned out to actually be a rupture of the lower part of the aircraft structure. So stay tuned.
Wind 31016, everyone right, right on right. Card 131 right. Delta 260, produced.
This video is brought to you in cooperation with the Mentour Aviation app. Yet again, I hope that you guys have had a chance to download my free app. It's available down here and it will enable you to see news like the one I'm just reported on. That's right. We have a team that is dedicated to scour the internet for all aviation related news, put it up in the app in an easy to follow way. You just need to open up the news, you'll see all the things that have happened during the day, completely free to use. But if you feel like supporting the app, then you can become a premium member and you can ask questions during live streams and things like that. Get the app, you have the free download links down here, and see you inside of the app chat. Right, so last week there were several news outlets reporting about the failed ultimate load test of the new 777X. But a few days ago, the Seattle Times came out with an article that actually went into more detail about what actually happened during that test. Now, I have a link to that article written by the brilliant Dominic Gates down here if you want to read it in full. But basically what you need to understand is that during the certification of a new aircraft, it needs to be subjected to actual loads. So the engineers would have made a computer model, and the computer model will, assess where the weaknesses of the aircraft structure is. But we still need to do actual testing, actual physical testing of a physical aircraft in order to see that the computer models are correct and that we haven't overseen something. And this is what was happening to the 777X when this failure occurred. So the test is made in a way where they start bending the wings upwards to their absolutely most extreme. The wings were bent to about 28 feet upwards, where they in normal flight will only reach about 9 feet or so. At the same time, there are weights attached to the front and the back of the aircraft, bending the front and the back down using millions of pounds of thrust to do so. All right? And on top of that, they also pressurize the aircraft above the normal pressurization. So in a 737, the maximum differential pressure, as in the pressure difference between the outside and inside of the aircraft, is 9.1 psi. And in this ultimate load experiment or ultimate load check, it was pressurized to more than that, so about 10 psi. So this means that you have the biggest amount of forces that could ever be imagined to be put upon an aircraft before it will fail. And every structure will fail at some point. Now, what the stress test is designed to do is to make sure that it can do more than 1.5 times the max limit at the same time everywhere. All right? So all of the component needs to be able to take 1.5 times their maximum loads in any given circumstance. When this test was performed, when they were approaching about 1.48 times the limit pressures, an explosive decompression happened. Basically, the back of the aircraft behind the aft entry door ruptured. And because it ruptured, it actually split open enough for one of the doors to fall out as well. And this is what was originally reported, that a door had fallen out during a structure test. But the damage was actually worse than that. The whole aircraft is basically reported to be a write-off, according to Seattle Times. So it's significant structural damage that happened about 1% away from the limit value. As an example, the old 777 basically went up to 1.54 times the limit pressure before it broke, and I think the 787 was never ever tested up to the full breaking point. It just went to 1.5, it cleared it, and that's it. So what will happen then? Well, the fact is that this test is almost regarded as a success because it was within 1% of the limit value. It means that the Boeing engineers now have enough data to compare their data model to the actual failure, and they can see whether or not that is close enough and what areas needs to be reinforced. And it is likely that the FAA will agree that if they just do the reinforcements that the computer models are showing, well then the test will be seen as a success and it will not delay the 777X program. Now I know that there's a lot of people out there who are saying, oh, well, you know, it actually didn't, it failed the test, didn't it? But what you have to understand here is that this is the way that this is being done with the kind of extreme forces that are being implemented. It is expected to break at around that point. And since it was that close to the limit value, then the FAA will, and rightfully so, judge it to just be reinforced, run the computer models with the reinforced parts, and then see the test as a success. Now that is perfectly a safe way of doing it, and it's been done in previous aircraft types as well. And even though the damages that we see from the Seattle Times article looks very, very dramatic, they are dramatic. And that is what you would expect when you bring the aircraft to the brink of destruction. If something happens within that exact line that it's built for, it is considered normal, and in normal flight, when the aircraft is under normal conditions, even when it's subject to a lot of excess stresses, it won't come close to the kind of stresses that this test puts the aircraft under. So that's what you have to understand in relationship to this, and I hope that makes sense. That's it. I only wanted to do a short video on this, and these are the kind of extra videos that I tend to put on as premium material for the premium users in the Mentour Aviation app. So if you want these kind of, you know, short analysis and things like that, then become a premium member in the app. But if you don't, it's completely free, and once again you have the download links both to iOS and Android down here. Get the app. Let's continue to build this fantastic, positive and constructive society that is thriving in there at the moment. Right guys, I really hope that you liked that. If you want more content like that, more aviation content, well then check this out. I hope that you have subscribed to the channel and that you've highlighted the little notification bell. See you inside of the Mentour Aviation app and have an absolutely fantastic day. Bye bye.